We're ready. We're going to be loading in to Lightshade LE. This is the first qualifying match of the day, the first best of 5. Oh boy.
Yeah, not to be confused with Nightshade.
Not to be confused with Nightshade.
We're gonna be loading on in. And speaking of loading on in, this is, as you were saying, our first qualifying match. It is going to be a best of 5 and a PvT over here on Lightshade LE. LE, of course, standing for Language Efficiency. Language Efficiency, that's where you do everything on Duolingo. Over here in the top left-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the top left-hand corner map, we have the blue Terran player come down to represent the land of Pakistan. He is going to be representing them Red Dragons, the #1 Maru fanboy in existence. We have RazerBlader.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Lightshade LE, we have the Australian Protoss player, the Red Protoss, currently representing Team Mindfreak. It is Pezz.
Wait, why is the Red Dragon player blue?
Why is the Mindfreak player red?
Red.
And
alternating current.
And why is Lightshade gray?
Purple. Or not purple. Well, I mean, gray is kind of, it's light gray.
Is it light gray? Is this light gray?
Well, it's dark gray now because there hasn't been any light shown on it.
Ah, maybe that's it. Maybe that's part of it.
Ah, it's like one of those, it's like when you have black hair, but when you shine a light on it, it becomes brown.
That's my hair. Wait, is that all
my hair?
Hold on, is that all black hair? Is there such a thing as black hair?
I believe there isn't. Well, to an extent, because over time all hair will lighten up under when exposed to enough UV light, i.e., sunlight.
Yeah, it's like, technically all hair does fall out. So yeah, like, is there even any color? In the end, we are all steel.
A little bit of green over here. We are all steel in the end. Except for his parents. They were carbon and iron.
There you go. So,
and speaking of, there we go. Pezz gonna be opening up with that Stargate play.
Okay. I'm a little bit concerned. Okay. Now I have to get into this. RazerBlader versus Pezz. We casted this yesterday.
Ooh.
Corky and I. And
I
RazerBlader won the series 2-0. It was a best of 3, and Pezz both games went Stargate opener, and RazerBlader both games scouted the Stargate, and then he went for this ultra defensive style where he had the bunker, he got a Cyclone, and he got a Viking, and he just defended against whatever, like, Oracle or Phoenix.
Sounds like what we're getting here, like.
Yeah.
Okay, here's hoping Pezz did manage to refine that style in between. But so far, it seems like RazerBlader, he's just looking at that Stargate and thinking, oh, thank God, thank Christ, and do the same thing.
That's the thing, right? Because Pezz, he did the same thing 2 games in a row, and RazerBlader, he just absolutely shut it down. I don't know if Pezz was watching the series, but after that, RazerBlader went up against another Southeast Asian Protoss. Go figure.
Hello.
And he there was no Stargate play at all, and RazerBlader struggled a lot more. So it's very possible that, like, RazerBlader, he's a lot less confident, less comfortable when it comes to Robo first, because we saw a lot of Robo first into, like, fast Colossus play, which worked really well against, like, RazerBlader's heavy bio play. But yeah, we'll see how Pezz has adapted, because, I mean, I'm sure he knows, like, what happened yesterday, right? And he wants to, improve and adapt.
Yeah, it definitely is. And I will say this about Stargate in particular. There are a lot of builds that you kind of go for in StarCraft 2, a lot of openings that you can go for, where if they fail, you have to ask yourself, did it fail because it's bad or my opponent countered it, or was it just not as refined as it could have been? And so I do believe that this sort of Stargate into Twilight can be one of those builds, but yeah, we'll see how Pezz is able to show that off. as it looks like right now RazerBlader already with 2 Cyclones.
Yeah, he does have 2 Cyclones, but interestingly, Pezz, he's going full stats. He went for a triple Oracle opening, and he waited for all 3 Oracles to finish up, so he's going to be trying to multi-prong her attack with his Oracles and his Adepts at the same time.
And the question you got to be asking, is this too much damage? You do like the Oracle is going for the natural instead of the main base where a lot of the DPS actually is at. And this is enough Oracles to really chew through the Bio Army. The Cyclone's getting caught out.
Wow.
One of them, both of them going down. There are still a couple of Marines, but nowhere near enough to really start putting the hurt in. And this is Pezz showing a much more refined style than yesterday.
Oh my god, he absolutely destroyed everything. 19 SCVs went down, both Cyclones were focused down, and all the Bio as well. And Pezz, he's getting a 3rd.
Jesus Cristo. Pezz going for that 3rd base, really playing with his advantage right now. RazerBlader, he does have that triple rack strategy going out, but with that little with that much damage being taken, I don't think he'll be able to get his pushed out anytime soon.
Exactly, and the Oracles, they're not done. There's not the Marauders, the Reaper, it doesn't shoot up. Like the Oracles, they just get crazy here. There's nothing to stop them.
A couple of Marines, but obviously those Marines are gonna be not enough to really deal with the Oracles over there, but they do run out of energy, so Pezz decides to back right on out.
Exactly, 3 SCVs went down, and again, the Marines, they got revealed, so now Pezz, he's aware of where they are, so he rotates around. He should be going to the main base as well. Like, the world is his oyster. He can do whatever he wants. It doesn't even matter if he loses these Oracles. He's already dealt the damage.
Indeed, he has. And yeah, I kind of want Pezz to just, maybe take a page out of Psycho right now, and which he kind of is to an extent. He's being a little bit active with his Oracles over on the map and just focusing on macroing up. I say that, but that's a lot of chargeless moved across the map. This could just be the death blow. RazerBlader just does not have any AoE and nowhere near the bio count that he needs.
Exactly. There's no tech lab on the factory. Like, there's no tanks, there's no widow mines, there's nothing. Only these Marines and Marauders, and that's exactly what the chargeless want. They just want to get in on that.
They just want to charge right in. Just boom, get that tackle in. Immediately gonna be surrounding the bio just like so. GG is called, and Pezz, much better opening than we saw yesterday, really paying off for him. Gonna be taking game number 1 of this qualifying round.
Oh my god, that was dominant.
I want to say that was almost a genius, like, that was a massively big brain move. I can't actually confirm this, but I do want to say that Pezz from yesterday just looked at all of those replays that he did, maybe noticed, okay, Raza did put majority of his anti-air into
the main?
In his main base, yeah, exactly. What if I go into the natural base, force it down, and then hopefully get a nice little surround, pick off whatever I need to, and just snowball from there, and we see it absolutely paid off. Raza is going to have to sort of think twice this time before where he wants to position his Cyclones.
Exactly. Like, Raza, he scouted, he was ready and waiting for whatever Stargate units, for whatever Oracles would come out, and yeah, they just, everything went into the main. He wasn't ready for it. All his units were out of position, and just like that.
Just like so. We are going into game number 2. It is going to be on Pillars of Gold. This time our players do have their correct colors.
Yeah, no, I agree. More correct than before.
Yeah. It does feel weird seeing Pezz without that purple, and it feels weird seeing any Red Dragons player who isn't red.
You know what,
well,
Razor?
Maybe black, because, when I think of Red Dragon, I think of MSI.
Yeah. RazerBlader, he must have been listening into the stream. He realized the mistake, and really that's why he lost last game.
Exactly. He knows how to fix that mistake. And speaking of which, we are now on to Pillars of Gold. No longer holding up the Golden Wall, nor the Eternal Empire, but still accepting those LE submarines. We are now here in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, spawning all the way in the bottom left-hand corner of the map. We have the red Terran player. It's just so much better seeing him on the red now. Gonna be representing Red Dragons. He is the number 1 Maru fanboy out there. No one can change my mind. We have RazerBlader.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Pillars of Gold, LE, we have the Australian Protoss, the purple Protoss, representing Team Mindfreak. It is Pezz.
You didn't do the alliteration.
No, I did not.
Protoss player Pezz.
Protoss.
Player Pezz.
Yeah, and I'm just curious to see, is Pezz, is he just going to continue to do the same thing? Like, I feel like that would be like a, I don't know, like an overconfident, like almost alpha move that I kind of want him to do.
Yeah. I mean, after a while, you got to figure that eventually, especially the best of 5, your opponent will get wise on it. You know, this is sort of something you can do in a best of 3, right? To really just sucker punch your opponent into a quick victory. But in a best of 5, it's a little bit more of a risk. That said, this is also, I want to say, maybe not the first time Raza is playing against this style, but it's definitely the first time he's playing against a style that's this refined, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, and I was honestly very surprised by Razer's choice of build last game, because we didn't get to touch on it, but it was a 3rd CC before Starport.
Yeah, which I don't really mind when he knew, because he knew that the because he knew that the Oracles were going to be coming in. That was probably the safer move to go for, but yeah, after a while, he wanted to build into that 3-Rex push, and because of all the damage he sustained, he couldn't quite go into that. Exactly,
like he had 3 CCs, but he had lost 20 SCVs to make that happen. It just wasn't worth it. Like, he was so far behind economically. And the reason why I bring that up is because yesterday he went 1-1-1. As a response instead. Like, he went 1-1-1, and by the time the Oracles came, he wouldn't just have the Cyclones, he would also have Vikings as well.
Yeah, that does make things a lot more safer there. Did he also go double Cyclone yesterday, or did he only get one?
I believe he would get, by the time it came, he would have a Cyclone, he'd have a Viking, and he'd have a Widowmine.
Yeah, I'm thinking that maybe that Razer's just thinking, okay, Cyclones, their anti-air is really dang good. I'm just gonna go into double Cyclone and into Marine production, and then just focus on the SCVs, which, as we see now, yeah, the anti-air damage is really good. You need to get them in position first, and yeah, they're not as reliable as Vikings in that respect.
Yeah, definitely. And already this game in game 2, we do see that RazerBlader, he is switching things up. He is going for this 1-on-1 opening, looking to go into, it looks like a Widowmine drop.
Yeah, at least a little. Yeah, definitely going to the Widowmine drop. Not gonna be fully committed to that, as he is doing the, I would say, safer scouting choice of 1 Reaper, 1 Hellion. You know, that's when you really want to make sure you know what your Protoss opponent is doing.
Yeah, definitely. And we did just see that RazerBlader's Reaper did go down, but it went down after scouting the Stargate, so he's aware of Pezz's opening. I think he also saw that a Phoenix was being built as well, so he's aware that there aren't like as many Oracles as last time.
Yeah, we'll still have to be a little bit careful, as, you know, you don't want to get your SCVs lifted and killed, but yeah, it's not as worrisome as those Oracles are.
Yeah, and here we go. This is what he did last time. He has... he's working on his Cyclone, he's working on his Viking, he should be working on a Widowmine after this as well, and it turns out to be a really strong push, because sure, he's going to be lacking Medivacs, but like, he's going to have a lot of DPS with this army.
Oh, absolutely will, and I'm a little bit worried for Pezz right now. I think the big strength of going into Phoenixes like this is when you're anticipating your opponent to go tanks, and I'm not sure if that's what RazerBlader is really building into. I feel like he may just be going into a very strong anti-air bio army.
Oh yeah, exactly. And this is what he was doing yesterday. This is exactly the build. And this is what Pezz should be ready for. This is what he should have, you know, watched the replays and adjusted his build accordingly. Because as you were saying, like, these Phoenixes, they're great against tank-based armies, but that's not exactly what RazerBlader is going to have.
Yeah, we'll be getting a couple earlier on, just to, you know, just to be safe and have a little bit of a fallback line, but yeah, I don't think that that's what he's going to be relying on as the game goes on. That said, Pezz is going into chargelets, which I do absolutely like.
Yeah.
Well, I don't like playing against them, but yeah, which is why I like that Pezz is going for them. They are very effective in that PvT matchup, and yeah, especially if, and as we said, he's probably not going to be committed to the tanks, but if, just in case Reza is committed to the tanks, Chargers do clean that up really, really quick.
Yeah, and I would say that like it's not necessarily about the tank commitment, but like what we see typically is like this bio-based army going out with the tank push, going out with medevacs, right? And then we see the Phoenixes deal with the medevacs, pick up the tanks, and pick away at the army. But again, there are no medevacs. We have Vikings here to help support, protect the tanks from the Phoenixes.
Razer's going stimless. Razer's actually going stimless right now, and this is going to have to do quite a bit of damage, at least take out the third base and workers that are there. Meanwhile, Pezz really started to put the hurt on this mineral line. 7, 8, 9 SCVs already going down, and a quick little recall just so he can get prepared. Again, I do think that Pezz has really done his homework here, really looked at what went wrong for him yesterday.
Yeah, definitely, and we'll see how he's able to deal with this army. Again, the Widowmine does borrow. There are a lot of charge outs though.
It's not quite in position, and they do get picked up. The Zealots absolutely cleaning house, but this is a really good position to put your Marines. And the Chargers will be able to deal with the tanks, and they will be able to deal with the Marines eventually as well. That was such a shutdown coming out from Pezz.
Yeah.
And I'm looking really worried for Razer right now. Like, he is 30 army supply down, and even being a little bit supply down from the Protoss player, that's not good.
Yeah, he was like semi all in because again, he took all that economic damage from the Phoenixes and he made the decision not to turn back home to continue with the attack, and he lost everything and he barely traded.
And there we have it, GG's call. Pezz now on match point, really looking like he's going to be the first player to qualify today. I almost said tonight, I'm so used to casting it.
I don't blame you, and wow, Pezz already up 2-0. Mate.
Wowie zowie.
He's got something to prove. He's upset.
That was a shutdown.
Yeah, he's like, mate, yesterday was embarrassing. Like, that's not happening 2 days in a row. I'm coming in strong, and I'm already up 2-0.
I will consult the PvT masters. Raza may be taking inspiration from Maru, who has really good TVP, but you know what? I'm trying to join Shield. Gonna be looking at stats.
Exactly, and I'm just in awe right now of how dominant Pezz is being.
It has been compared to yesterday.
Yeah,
right?
it's like you know what? Yesterday it was like a different Pezz. It's like he was warming up. He was like sleepy or something, or I don't know.
Yeah, yesterday nobody filled the dispenser of candy. Today he's completely chock full. Pop him open, got a new build.
Exactly. Exactly. Pezz, he was just kind of testing the waters, if you will, yesterday. He's like, I just want to see what you're doing so that tomorrow, the next day, when it really matters, that's when I can just dismantle RazerBlader.
Exactly. He probably rigged the bracket just to make sure that he faces him in the qualifying match too. I see you, Pezz. I see your styles and whatnot.
Yeah. I love it. Even Ranger right now is in awe at what Pezz was able to accomplish. He's like, Jesus Christ.
Jesus. Dark Void over there. So in awe. A little bit of trauma as a Terran player, I'd imagine.
It's like RazerBlader 6K on EU. Nah, mate. What even is that? What does that even mean? That means nothing
here. Let me tell
here.
you something, Raza. I'm using the classic portrait. That's how you know Pezz is a man of culture. And we are now going to be loading in onto Death Aura! The Aura of Death! We like to do the thing! Italy! We are here now on the bottom right-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the bottom right-hand corner of the map. He has really got to make this work and potentially get that reverse sweep. He does not want his fate dictated in that lower bracket. Don't think anybody does. Gonna be coming in here representing Pakistan. Gonna be playing for Team Red Dragons. We have the engineer himself. It is RazerBlader. I just felt like Maru fan was getting a little too repetitive. I was like, where the heck do we go?
Spawning in the top left-hand corner of Death Aura LE, we have the Australian Protoss, the purple Protoss. He is representing Team Mindfreak. It is Pezz.
Oh boy, are we gonna see another Stargate?
Probably.
Yeah, no, honestly, I do feel like if there was any map to go open up Stargate with, it would be Death Aura in this current map pool. I don't know what it is about this map, but we have seen a lot of Protoss players. They tend to favor going Stargate as your opening on Death Aura.
Yeah, and Pezz, he's been going Stargate every single game. To be fair, these last 2 games, you know, he has been approaching it differently, you know, with that triple Oracle opening and the other one being Mass Phoenix. But again, it feels like it's on RazerBlader to really come up with something new here.
This is where he goes one base mothership. We gotta take a page off of Whisk's book.
Yeah, why not, right? You know, you're ahead, you're 2-0 in a best of 5. You've got a couple of games to mess around with, you know?
Yeah. Why not?
Why not? And yeah, we'll see what RazerBlader has in store for us. Of course, we are on Death Aura. It is one of the older maps. It's a lot more played out. I'm sure these guys are a lot more comfortable on this map, and yeah, we'll see. We'll see what he's got.
That we definitely will. As I'm just keeping one of my eyes on that production tab while the other one scans literally everything else. All right, Raz is going to come in and scout that there isn't going to be a Stargate this time.
Yeah, not yet, anyway, and he has to be careful not to lose his Reaper a little bit too early, and ooh, I love this Robo coming out from Pezz.
Yeah, just as he realized that, you know, that Reaper wouldn't be able to get too much scouting information.
Oh,
the adept is coming in, the adept is coming in! That Reaper is going to go down!
Wow.
And that has got to set off some alarm bells right now for Raza.
Yeah. Because right now, Raza, he's blind. He sees nothing. He has no idea what kind of opening Pezz is going for. As the Reaper was killed after the tech was turned down. Sorry, before. It just was out of the base. It wasn't there.
But I tell you what, Light, I do like that Raza is going for that Hellion, just making sure that, you know, he's not going to be bamboozled here. It would be so easy for him to just get a tech lab, go into Cyclones, get some Vikings out, but yeah, he really wants to make sure he knows what his opponent's up against, what he's up against.
Oh my god, but is Pezz gonna let him? He's trying to chase down the Hellion, he's trying to deny that scouting information. It's so low at the moment, and we'll see if he's able to get in. The Stalker, the Intercept!
Oh, the Stalker should be able to take this out. And it will. Raza maybe forced to use a scan over here. But instead, just gonna be playing it out as safe as can be. Gonna go for that, what's it called? Raven. Just in case we see any DTs out.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, like, this is okay for RazerBlader. I was gonna say okay because we did see a Robo opening. If Pezz was gonna go into Colossus, like, Ravens are so valuable, especially when it comes to their interference matrix. But Pezz opting not to go for it quite yet, starting off with an Immortal as he is throwing down that Robotics Bay.
Yeah, wants to be a little bit safer before he, you know, goes into the Colossus tech. Colossus, they're really good, especially in PvT. They are almost a defensive unit. Which you don't really think about, but you do want to make sure you have some sort of backbone, some sort of support for that Colossus, and that's where the Immortal and the Gateway units come in.
Yeah, definitely. He's not doing anything cheeky. Like yesterday, we did see a couple of Colossus-based openings where Warp Prism and Warp Prism Speed was resourced as well to be a little bit cheeky with drops. But yeah, none of that here today. Yeah.
What if he goes for Colossus drop, though? It's not too late. It's not too late. Get that Warp Prism Speed, Pezz. Get it, and then Thermal Ants. You know you want to. You gotta tell you're in a Zest, boy. You're never gonna get into Shield without Zest.
He needs to get his priorities in place. You know, he needs that Warp Prism Speed. But we do see the first Colossus on the way. Of course, there was a chance that Disruptors were chosen instead, but that's a little more crazy, a lot more unorthodox. Meanwhile, RazerBlader, he has to be a little bit careful here. He's going in with his Raven, looking to harass with some auto turrets.
And he could be able to get a decent amount of damage done. There is a shield battery here, but I do believe an auto turret just barely out DPS's the shield battery rate of recovery. But other than that, Raza just getting a nice little scout here, does see the Robo facility, and once he saw that that was a late Twilight Council, this should just about be the tip-off for him. I'm going to be up against some sort of Robo Bay, which is likely going to be Colossus, because, I mean, you were mentioning it, Disruptors in the PvT, way more unorthodox. In my opinion, a lot less reliable.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially when the backbone of the Terran army is going to be those Marines.
Yeah, we do call the Disruptor the Great Equalizer, and it works both ways.
It definitely does.
Yeah.
It is perfectly balanced, as all things should be. That's actually going to trigger quite a number of people, I imagine. What I meant was, I didn't mean it that way, guys.
You say that you missed out, but yesterday we casted Frustration, and he went Zealot Disruptor, and he may have killed all his zealots with his disruptors. That may have happened.
You'll love to see it. And speaking of what else you'll love to see, we do have a gateway explosion coming out for Pezz just in time as Reza is starting to move out.
Exactly, and we'll see if Pezz is able to prepare, because at the moment he does have an adept out on the map and he does spot the main army, so he is aware that RazerBlader is pushing out. But again, this is quite strong. He has a tank here, he has quite a number of Widow Mines as well, but he's opting to split up his army and go for a drop instead.
I'm not sure if it's so much of a drop as much as it is just it's a bit of a forward location. This is actually kind of smart. I think I know what he's going for now. He's trying to go for some multi-prong, the main and as well as the medevac. He should be evacuating with medevac. Oh, actually he gets a hot pickup of everything. Almost lost that medevac, which would have been disastrous. But instead, he is sort of splitting apart RazerBlader's army like this. This Raven is looking to go for the disables. There we go. Does not even need to use the interference matrix on that one. And this is a pretty good position for both of our players. There's only one Colossus that's in commission right now. And it is about to get sniped. The interfered one will be taken out. All the Colossus goes down. And there is still a very healthy bio count here. I think RazerBlader, if he's careful, should be able to put a point on the board.
Exactly, like RazerBlader just has enough to take out the majority of the army. The majority, not everything though. To be fair, there is a shield battery. It's all the way in the back in the mineral line. There weren't any shield batteries to help support the army, so no overcharges were used either.
There's just about nothing in production right now for Pezz though. He's got a lot of gas. He doesn't quite have the minerals to really make use of them. A lot of these gateways are also under cooldown, and this is basically a doom drop.
Exactly. He takes out the pylon. He's going to be able to take out some of the production as well. He does have to be careful because RazerBlader's army isn't too big. Oh, true.
He is just completely bullying this right now. There's another drop coming in at this third base location, but again, only one stalker and a couple of sentries. Those medevacs are still waiting at that main base location.
Yeah, he goes for the drop once again. Again, RazerBlader has to be careful because he is a little bit overstimmed, but oh my god, everything in the main base gets depowered. He has just free reign, especially because the recall is on cooldown as well.
Making absolutely fantastic use of SimCity right now. Making sure that he can't really get flanked here. The Templar Archives kind of backfiring over there, and yeah, I do believe that is absolutely correct building that Pezz wants to get, because again, he doesn't have a lot of minerals, but he's got a lot of gas. He needs to get some kind of unit.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I love this from Pezz, like he's going for a big counterattack. I mean, he needs to do something, but the reinforcements from RazerBlader is just too much. He has enough here to defend, and he's perfectly fine to hold his third.
Exactly, he has not stopped macroing throughout this entire time. Even still, this medevac, these medevacs, this tank, that tank should not still be alive. Get out of here. And it does eventually get cleaned out, but that was some amazing damage being done by RazerBlader.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like Pezz finally cleans it up. He finally regains control of his bases, but like his army for the most part has been reset. Like all three Colossus went down. He has to remake them. He threw down the Templar Archives to make some Archons as well. Like his army is just nowhere near as sophisticated as it was like 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, it definitely was not, but we are getting to the point where Pezz, he's building up into an army that can try their luck a little bit. I don't want to say he can just, YOLO them across into RazerBlader's army. He really can't if he's caught out of position, but he can take a couple of risks just based on the splash damage that he's got.
Exactly. There's a single Colossus and 2 Archons for that splash damage. Like Bio can do so much. Pezz just has to buy some time for that disruptor to pop out, as well as the shield batteries to help defend his bases.
The equalizer.
Oh,
as we do say. Oof. And Razer trying his luck a little bit here. We're noticing that army is not that large, nor is it in as good a position as it could be. Do love this run by though with the Zealots.
Yes, I love this. Finally, Pezz, he's actually dealing some economic damage. 6 SCVs go down, forcing a lot of lost mining time and forcing the army back. Meanwhile, Pezz is pushing into the third.
That he is. And it's always funny when you see the Protoss player being the one to sort of multi-prong the Terran player. It's usually the other way around, but yeah, this is quite a lot of damage, and the worker supply has just about equalized. Both players on 3 bases.
Yeah, definitely. But Pezz, he has to be careful because a lot of Widowmines went off. Basically, almost all the Zealots went down as well. His army is looking a little bit vulnerable. Like, he can't really commit. He gets EMP'd as well.
Just some fantastic EMPs, getting just about all of the energy on those sentries as well as a good amount of the shields. And with that, I mean, both players are just about equal in terms of the worker count. But RazerBlader with twice the army supply.
Exactly, that's what it's going to come down to. Another EMP lands with the Disruptor shot.
Ooh, those are some pretty good splits on the bio, but a lot of Widowmines will be going down there. And that, I mean, Pezz has just about remade the Zealot count. That was another nice little Purification Nova managing to hit. And there is another one on the way. Not many options in terms of splitting here, but RazerBlader picking the correct place or position to split two. And these expensive robo units looking a little bit exposed. These Zealots are trying to set up for a flank, but not quite going to get it.
Exactly. Yeah, it's important to note that RazerBlader, he's down in the worker count. Like, he took a lot of damage at that third base, but Pezz maybe being a little bit too greedy. He's expanding, taking a fourth, and right now his main is vulnerable to this Doom drop.
It is so vulnerable right now, Light, and with that, it's not looking too good for old mate Pezz here. His army not quite in position. He is absolutely getting hot picked up right over here.
Yeah, but to be fair, not that much damage was done. You know, we did see 6 probes went down, and for the most part, we're kind of equal in terms of the economy. I say that we're equal in terms of the economy, but Pezz, he's working on his 4th.
He definitely is, but meanwhile, RazerBlader, he's got mules.
Oh, true, he does have mules, and he goes back in for another drop. I don't know if this was the best idea, though. Again, there were some units left behind, and here come the Colossus.
They are starting to come on in, but it is mostly Marauders here. These Purification Novas getting absolutely nothing. Being basically dead supply. Hot pickup right on top over there, but you have to be very careful with the Archons. RazerBlader does dip on out. I'm a little bit surprised. I do think he could have gotten more damage there, but yeah, he's playing at a bit of a ping disadvantage. He wants to be very sure that, you know, he's not taking any unnecessary risks. And he's going again with the Zoom drop. GG is called. And old mate Raza taking a page off of Maru there. Gonna be putting a point on the board.
Oof, exactly. The amount of multi-pronged harassment, the drops. We got to see that RazerBlader was able to cancel the 4th base over to the right-hand side. He was harassing with Liberators and just kept dropping into the main base of Pezz. And Pezz, he just didn't have enough. He just couldn't keep up.
No, he could not. I guess now the question is Pezz going to revert to that Stargate style in the upcoming games? And I do feel like today, this particular series has just been completely topsy-turvy. Like, you mentioned yesterday, RazerBlader, he's been doing really well against the Stargate openings, not really well against the Robo openings. It's the opposite case now. Yeah,
he struggled a lot more against Stargate, and here against Robo, he was looking on fire. That was the best we've seen coming out from Raza, and he finally puts a point on the board.
That he does. He's going to make that reverse sweep, or is Pezz going to be securing that quali? We can only find out in this match, and I guess the match after this one, if we get it.
Yeah. We'll wait and see. Oh boy. We're going to be loading into Oxide LE.
It's oxidized. And we are breathing coming in here onto Oxide LE. LE, of course, standing for lithium. What's a chemical or an element that starts with E? Earth. Lithium Earth. That is the elements, if you will. But in the end, it doesn't really matter. They all get oxidized. We are now here in the top right-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the top right-hand corner map. We have the red Terran player coming down to represent the land of Pakistan. He is going to be playing for Team Red Dragons. The #1 Maru fan, we have RazerBlader.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Oxide LE, we have the purple Protoss, the Australian Protoss representing Team Mindfreak. It is Pezz.
So in my headcanon, like, what happened before that last game started? Raza took out his wallet, opened it up. He found that Polaroid he took of Maru like years ago, and he just pressed it on his monitor and be like, I'm gonna do it for you.
For the people who may not be aware, may not know, RazerBlader, aka Old Mate Raza, he went to Korea a couple of years ago. Was it in 2019?
Around 2018.
2018.
Yeah, 2018, because he was super hyped for Maru to make the to win 2 GSL Code S's in a row.
Yeah, he went to Korea with Volt and one other player. I can't remember who.
I want to say his brother? Question mark.
Yeah, I believe it was his brother. But yeah, they did venture out. They went to Korea. They got to see Maru, the GSL live. And yeah, it's all on Twitter.
And since then, I want to point it out. Whenever RazerBlader signs up for anything, he always uses that picture he took with him and Maru. He's just that much of a fan.
Yeah, exactly. He holds it dear, you know. He's got it in his wallet. He looks at it at night. He kisses it even. It's it gives him energy, strength even. Yeah.
That was like the first and I want to say only time I was awake to tune into the stream. It was just like, so the amount of photos that I have in my wallet. Here's one of Maru. Here's another one of Maru.
Oh my god.
Here's me and Maru.
It's all Maru.
It's Maru all the way down. That's why he's a dragon.
Exactly.
I'm not sure how I would connect that one.
I mean, dragons, they have wings.
Yeah.
Just like Jin Air.
Wings. Aha. Hey, you know what? They say Red Bull gives you rings.
It does.
Kind of like red dragons, no? Okay.
Meanwhile, in this game, we do have a bit of a different opening coming out from Pezz. He is getting a much faster Zealot legs as well as that Robo.
Oh, we got to see a Forge Light coming down from Pezz. I can see it so clearly, Light. I can see the War Prism being made.
Is he gonna scout? Is he gonna see it?
And he will. Yeah, he will in fact see that. He will see that the Twilight Council is producing something.
Yeah, I don't know.
May or may not be expecting Blink. May or may not be expecting Charge.
Exactly. So he didn't get to see the gases to the south. If he did, then he would have been able to see that there's only one probe mining gas, and that's a massive tell that it is Zealot legs. Seeing that the Twilight Council was researching and seeing the Robo, I don't know if like you can deduce that like what it is already from that, because Blink is so prominent in this matchup as well. So it's hard to say. It's hard to say if RazerBlader knows exactly what Pezz is doing.
I think the safe option would be to sort of keep that Raven around the edge of the main. Just try to, in case an observer gets there, then he'll know, oh right, he's trying to go for some sort of blink. But as you see, once he sees that Warp Prism come down, he can maybe try to go for a quick Matrix. Not sure if he'll have the energy for that though.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, he will have the Raven, and he is keeping it at home defensively. He's even going to have a tank as well. So, again, this is going to hit hard.
Tank. Yeah, tank is going to be really good against Blink, but as we can see, it's not quite what it is. I'm just watching the Raven right now, I got to tell you, Light. The Raven and the Warp Prism. It is going to come down to these two units. Who shoots first?
Oh, and the Warp Prism is out of vision.
It is right out of vision. There is a little bit more bio here, but is it enough to deal against these chargelets?
Oh,
they have some really good positioning right now. They have to make some really good use of choke points. Good use of the auto turret there.
Yeah, and actually really good positioning as well from the tank. I'm sure if the tank was in the main base, then the Zealots would have just pounced on top of it, but because it was in the natural, it was able to protect that ramp. And now another warp in, but it looks like, is there enough here to break through?
Might not be. I think RazerBlader is going to just about clean this up, but he has already lost 22 SCVs. Ooh. I'm getting flashbacks to game number 1 here, Light.
Jesus Christ, 22. That's an insane amount of SCVs that went down. He lost almost everything in his main. There's still a Zealot swiping away as well. 23. And Pezz, like, the damage has been done. Anything else he gets from here is like a bonus.
And this is absolutely does show off that Pezz, he's done his homework. He got 2-0'd yesterday. He does not want to let it happen again.
Exactly, and we got to see that small area in the bottom right-hand corner of RazerBlader's base. It was so important that he had vision there, and because he didn't, like, Warpins just came in, and Pezz took advantage of that. So many SCVs went down, and he's not done. He's working on the Archons to follow up.
He definitely is. He's just got so much freedom out right now. You know, RazerBlader, it takes a while before the Terran players, you know, really confident in their army to push across the map, and he can just sort of do whatever. The economy's not looking too good either for him, but he will go for it. He knows that he's got to do at least something, but it is not. Pezz is not letting up with these chargelets.
He's all in. He's all in. He's ignoring the attack that's happening in his main base right now, and RazerBlader is just pushing across the map. He's down to 16 SCVs. He has to end the game right here, right now, with the army that he has.
But it is not looking that likely. May have just enough to sort of trade the armies here, but you have the medevacs here without all the upgrades that he's really, you know, comfortable with before pushing out. He does eventually get the warpism though. So that's at least something, but 9 more SCVs went down?
Yeah, 9 more SCVs went down. I was so surprised RazerBlader was turning back for a moment there, but here we go. He's continuing to apply pressure and press on, and I think this is the right move because the army from Pezz isn't that big. Like, honestly, I feel like if the tanks get in good positions, then RazerBlader, he can make something happen.
Yeah, it is going to come down quite a bit to the positioning. I feel like that's the only chance that Raza has right now. Because this is may not be a very large army for Protoss, but it is a very beefy army. Amazing feedback over there. And the Templar will go down. Really nice kiting gear with the Bio. And the tanks are a little bit exposed, but the Bio does manage to fight on through. There's only 1 Immortal over here and a couple of Zealots.
Oh my God.
The boys are now being pulled. Has Reza done it?
He's done it!
GG is called! RazerBlader will take it to the ace match. What a clutch move!
Oh my God, RazerBlader is showing that, mate, you don't need any more than 13 SCVs. You're good.
Exactly. You got mules.
You got mules, mate. You got 2 CCs, you got mules. You just rush across the map with what you have, with 3 tanks, and Pezz, yeah, he just didn't have the army. He had dealt all the damage. He thought he could just sail through, but Raza, he just took advantage of that.
Oh, mate, Raza, that's what happens. When you ask the, when you get the Maru charm, you learn how to clutch.
Oh my God.
And before we get into this next map, thank you very much, Game S Kingdom, or is that Games Kingdom?
Games Kingdom, gracias, thank you so much. That is, of course, Gustavo. He is the Brazilian caster for Battle of the Americas. Of course, we normally cast Battle of the Americas, but since DreamHack is upon us, we are casting that instead. So gracias, thank you so much, Gustavo. I hope Battle of the Americas went well. Let us know. Who won that? Like, what happened? I saw Nina.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw Nina, Chem, and Patty Mac were duking it out. Yeah.
Thank you. I think they were actually fighting for the raffle. That's what they really wanted. Alrighty then, we are now going to be loading in onto Jagannatha LE, the last map of this qualifying match. Whoever wins this is going to be secure. They are going to go into the ANZ champs. The loser of this will have to take it up in the lower bracket. Let's find out who wins. Over here in the bottom left-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the bottom left-hand corner map, we have the red Terran player coming down to represent the land of Pakistan. He is a player from Red Dragons, the engineer extraordinaire himself. We have RazerBlader.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Jagannatha LE, we have the Australian Protoss player, the purple Protoss, representing Team Mindfreak. It is Pezz.
Wow.
Yeah, we do have the chat catching up on the end of the last game. Oh my God. Like, I feel so bad for Pezz because he had it in the bag. He had dealt so much damage.
He did. I was like, oh, is this how Pezz is gonna qualify? Dirty. I like it. But then no. Raza just stuck to it, man.
Yeah.
Just stuck to it, and he took it to the ace match.
Exactly, like Pezz, he should have known that he forced his opponent into an all-in. Like, he had dealt so much damage, which is great, but he forced that reaction out of Raza, and he just didn't have enough to defend. Oh my God, it was so close, and now we're here. We're in the ace match.
I feel like it may have been one of those moments where, let me ask you if you agree with me there. There are moments where you know, the players just sort of autopilot, right? And they sort of, you know, they move their fingers, they move their hands, and be like, this is what I need to get in this position. You know, when you've already done a lot and you're like, ah, yes, let me just play it out like normal.
Oh god.
Because I'm at an advantage, but yeah, it doesn't quite work out that way.
Exactly. Like sometimes you don't think too much of it, right? You're like, hey, I dealt the damage, I'm just gonna get into a macro game, when you don't realize the desperation that you've put your opponent into, right? And speaking of, now, like, Raza, we're in the ace match, and he's gonna take the initiative here. He's gonna finish up that bunker and be quite annoying with this Reaper.
Nice. You'll love to see it. Even going to be able to keep that SCV alive in case he needs some quick repairs.
Oh boy, and yeah, I mean, he may not get too many worker kills, but what's important is that he's just completely denying any kind of mining that's here at the natural. It's gonna be so annoying to deal with. Ideally, RazerBlader should be able to save his Reaper, and he should be able to salvage the bunker before it goes down as well.
Yeah, that is always what you're looking to do when you're Terran player in this position. Unfortunately, won't be able to repair that bunker up too much more. It's with two adepts on the map. Yeah, exactly. They one-shot the SCV.
They can one-shot the SCV. We do have a shield battery here to help support these two adepts so they can actually chip away and deal with this. We'll see if a probe does go down.
Probe does get pulled. Always want to make sure that your probes are in the safest of mining conditions. Otherwise, the Union is going to come for you.
Yeah, you don't want that.
Shield's going to be right on it. He has a paddle ready.
He is going to be right on it. Meanwhile, RazerBlader was able to escape with his Reaper. He hasn't gone into the main base quite yet to scout. Sorry, never mind. He did see the Stargate, so he is aware.
Yeah, I was going to say, because he's getting a Viking and a Cyclone. So, and I'm going to be real with you. I also did not see... And I also didn't see a scout into that main base. Maybe he pulled a scan, or no? I think it was probably Reaper. Yeah, the Reaper went in before the bunker finished. That's what it. Why is our memory? We need to download more RAM, right?
It's fine. It's fine. So RazerBlader, he did scout the opening, and he is going for his tried and true response. It is to get that Widowmine out, the Cyclone, and a bunch of Vikings. We've seen this before. We saw it was on Pillars of Gold, I believe, where Pezz completely shut this down when RazerBlader transitioned into a big tank push coming out from this. So we'll see how Pezz does here, as Pezz, he's going for a completely different build. Like, he's not making any Phoenixes whatsoever.
Yeah, he's also stopping at 2 Oracles instead of that 3 that he went for on Lightshade. So, you know, doesn't quite want to become stats just yet. He is much more of a Zest fan.
Yeah, definitely. As we do see, the Oracles, they haven't been able to do any damage whatsoever quite yet, but they are pushing out with this Phoenix as well, maybe hoping to get into a mineral line, maybe harass or just use Revelation. And yeah, RazerBlader, he's just slowly macroing up, getting a 3rd CC.
Yeah, and I will say that he's definitely split his army a lot better than that game number 1. He's going to make sure that, you know, basically every opening has some kind of unit there, and the way he's also positioned his army, he can just quickly sort of, you know, bunch them all together at the position that Pezz does decide to go in from.
Oh yeah, definitely. He's just ready and waiting with a nice split up army, so regardless of where Pezz comes, RazerBlader should be prepared. Ooh, nice bit of mine.
That was a nice position there, yeah. Got a little bit of a pick-off over there. Yeah, you can take whatever you can get. I personally have never understood where you should put the Widow Mines, but you know what? You take what you can get.
Yeah, I love how the shot went off to the right, then he repositions over to the left, just so, you know, he's not in the same place, and it's a little bit harder for your Protoss opponent to know where it's safe.
Yeah, the Oracles go clockwise. You want to be rotating, do like a... Oh, what?
Wow!
The mine was in the radius, right, because the thing about Stasis Ward is it does sort of explode outwards a little bit. A little bit out from that ring.
The range that gets affected is larger than the activation range of the stasis.
That it is. It's kind of like the tanks. They can shoot further than they can see.
Exactly, yeah.
I mean, while the Phoenixes are starting to come in, there's a Viking and a good amount of Marines, so these Phoenixes, I mean, they'll pick off a Viking.
Yeah, nicely done. They have to be careful because there are 2 Widowmines here protecting the factory, so, you know, they can't go too deep, as RazerBlader is trying to catch them out on the map. And yeah, he's just focusing on his defense. He's focusing on establishing his third base, not really going for a big 2-base push like he did previously in the series. And same with Pezz, like he's just also working on his own army. He still doesn't quite have much AoE, which is a little bit concerning. Maybe opting to go for Storm instead, question mark?
I wouldn't really blame him there. Storm and Air is generally, I think, more popular compared to Stargate and Colossus. Well, I say that, but I can think of probably 3 different instances where the Protoss player went Phoenix Colossus. Not necessarily in PvT, though.
Yeah, this is an interesting style. So Pezz, he's just opting to go for mass Zealots, mass Phoenix, and this can definitely work. Like the Phoenixes to pick up all the tanks, and the Widow Mines, they're a little bit spread out. Like they're not all in position.
Yeah, and these are also mines that, you know, aren't with an armory. They're not, they're a little more vulnerable than they otherwise would be. Good pickups coming over to Phoenixes, but the mines will be able to borrow, and that is at least going to deter all of these Zealots. Most of the bio army from RazerBladers did still stay alive, but a decent amount of economic damage done there. So at the end, you know, Pezz making it out with a little bit of damage and keeping most of his army alive.
Yeah, I think Pezz was a little bit lucky that the majority of these Widow Mines were spread out in the other bases, so they weren't in position to defend. But once they did show up, Pezz had to retreat. He had to pull out. He had to get out of there. Otherwise, all the Zealots would have just evaporated.
I'm getting flashbacks of team games right now, Light. That's a lot of mines that are out there right now. It's not mass mine, though. It's not quite as bad as getting a Terran teammate in a team game.
Yeah, this is honestly kind of terrifying. There's so many Widow Mines, like I can't imagine the Zealots doing too much, which is why I love this from Pezz. He has double robo production with the Disruptors, but they're not ready. They're still not out yet.
They really are not. Right now, he really has to rely on his micro right now, you know, splitting against those mines, maybe trying to, you know, send a Zealot forward just to activate it or not. There isn't Drilling Claws yet, so you know, Raza won't really be able to get those borrow and unborrow micro that the Terran player wants to. Decent splits coming out right now for Pezz, but again, just a lot of these Zealots, not quite enough. Purification Nova will be able to take out the tank, and I think with this warping the Zealots, it may be enough to deter Raza, but no, he is not deterred.
Oh my god.
Will get taken out. Bio's still alive though.
Yeah, there was a Disruptor that came out, but it was just able to get out the Widow Mines. Like again, the Bio, it's left.
It's just enough.
Exactly, like the DPS is high enough to kill anything, despite the shield battery overcharge being used. There is a Warpin and there is another Disruptor though.
Yeah, and this is a very, very stemmed army with no medevac in sight. It is do or die for this particular group of army. And it will eventually get cleaned out, but I feel like Raza, he has so much momentum on him. He is going for this vulnerable third base. What are we even looking at?
It is vulnerable, but there is a massive warping of Zealots here to help clean this up. And honestly, Pezz, he hasn't taken much economic damage. He's well ahead in the worker count. As long as he holds, like, he should be perfectly fine.
Yeah, a little bit of friendly fire, which you always want to be able to utilize as the Protoss player on top of those Widow Mines. And I mean, you know, Raza, he's still putting on pressure. He is on just about as many bases as he can handle.
Yeah,
he should be able to take out this fourth.
Exactly, and it's so key that he does this. 10 probes go down, and potentially the fourth as well. And that's going to equalize the economy for both players, and it even drops in the main.
Even more probes are starting to go down, down.
No, the Disruptors!
This army of Pezz, he does not know where to go with it right now. They are getting sniped. They just cannot finish your Novas quick enough. And with that, GG is called. RazerBlader is going to be our first player qualifying for ANZ champs today. In a reverse sweep line.
Oh my god, GG Pezz, he was so close. Like, he was able to hold, but because of the consistent drops, because there at the end, he just lost 4 or 5 Disruptors for absolutely nothing. Like, he just was spread a little bit too thin, and RazerBlader, he was able to make it happen.
That indeed he was. He got close many times this series. He was up 2-0, almost managed to close out in that ace match, but Raza, he's the clutch.
Jesus Christ, unrelenting. He may have been down 2-0 to start off the series, but with that reverse sweep, he came back, he didn't give up, he looked at that photo of Maru longingly. It gave him the energy that he needed to close out the series.
Yeah. close it out he has. And speaking of series that we've got, we're going to go into another Protoss player, this time ZVP, Oreo versus Ranger, our second qualifying match of the evening.